Hi and welcome to this new video about semantic kernel, in which we will going to examine how to control the parameters when you call a large language model like OpenAI GPT-4o. In all the previous example, we simply interact with a large language model with a simple string or chat object, but sometimes you need to understand and you need to tweak the parameter used to call the large language model. And thanks to semantic kernel, this is really simple. As usual, first of all, some importing Nugget packaging, creating the kernel object, and then we start looking at a slightly more complex example. In this situation, we are importing the Microsoft Semantic Kernel connectors OpenAI. And this because when you interact with large language model, up to now, we never needed to understand that we have OpenAI or other provider, other large language model behind the curtain. We simply interact with semantic kernel. But if we want to tweak the parameter we are going to send to the model, we need to know which model it is because, different model has different parameter. So in this situation, we are going to use the create function from prompt method of the kernel object, where you create an object of type prompt template config that allows you, as you can see, to specify name, description, template. It's like the old template show in the previous video where you can specify everything in a YAML file. And in this situation, I'm specifying with code just to differentiate and just to let you understand different way to interact with semantic kernel. And the template format is semantic kernel, so it's a very simpler model than the handlebar we see in the previous example. And in this situation, in fact, we are looking at a very simple template where we are simply substituting strings inside a prompt template. But as you can see, this also is a template. But the interesting thing is the execution settings. In this situation, we are specifying the default execution setting. And since we know in advance that we are going to use the OpenAI service, we are using the OpenAI prompt execution setting. That is an object that contains all the typical parameter you're going to use with your OpenAI. And so as an example, I'm specifying the maximum number of output tokens I want the model to generate, the temperature, and I can also specify the model ID. We will see in a future example where model ID is useful. But for now, it's simply creating a kernel function out from a definition of a prompt. We can now press play and just define this function. Now, as you can see, to interact with this function is very simple. I'm creating a string builder object because this time I'm showing you a very simpler way to interact with the model. So I'm not creating a real chat object. I'm simply appending stuff to a string builder. It's perfectly valid approach, okay? So I'm appending your assistant that helps user to find answer. Your name is Jarvis, and I'm creating a kernel arguments where I'm specifying the history. And it's a simple toString of the whole string builder. So as you can see, I have no special syntax for it's a simple string. And then I'm going to post a question, and my name is Gian Maria, what's your name and purpose? And I'm going to kernel invoke async, okay? So let's see what's happening. And as you can see, hello, Gian Maria, my name is Jarvis, and blah, blah, blah. Now, just to verify that everything is going okay, I'm limiting the output token number to 10. And I'm recreating the function object with this different execution setting. So now when I'm going to interact again with a large language model, this time I should use this new setting. And so I'm pressing play. And as you can see, the output is much shorter because now the model is constrained to use no more than 10 maximum tokens. So I can put this again to 1000. And then I'm going to execute again. And as you can see, the answer is longer because now the settings are different. And this is very important because especially not this setting, but the temperature is the parameter that you are going to use the match, because using temperature 0 gives you more predictability and more stability in the answer that the large language model is doing in answer to the same prompt. Now, to show you that you can continue to interact with this very simpler model, I'm going to simply use the history as a string builder. So I'm appending assistant, semicolon, and I'm appending the old result. As you can see, another different from previous example is instead of using result to string, I'm using the get value, because result is really an semantic kernel object that allows you to examine more deeply the result of the large language model. In the vast majority of situations, you just need the answer as string, and this is okay for now. Now I'm appending the old system answer, and I'm creating another prompt where I'm passing the new history and I'm asking a new question, which is the nearest star from our solar system, and okay, it is answering. And as last example, you can always change the default settings in the single prompt. So you see that we specify the setting into the prompt definition, into the function definition, but you can always use the execution setting parameter of the kernel argument object to redefine a new setting, so this new code can be created with a new setting. So as usual, I'm reducing the number of tokens to 10, and I'm asking, do you know which is the position on Hertzsprung-Russell diagram of the Proxima Centauri, okay? Because I'm doing a string and hello, yes, I can help you with that, and then it's stopped. So I can restore to 1000, and let's see if GPT-4o now, yeah, okay, the Hertzsprung-Russell diagram scatter plot and blah, 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 blah. So it is actually answering to my question using all the token available with this new configuration. In this example, we saw how to create a kernel function from a template object written with code instead of loading from a YAML file. You can specify the format of the prompt. In this situation, it was simpler. It's not handlebars, it's a simple semantic kernel, and you specify parameter. We can use a simple string builder to create the chat. Instead of using the specialized chat object, you can simply accumulate the prompt inside the string builder and use inside the template. Sometimes using a plain string builder, it's maybe simpler and more straightforward than using a complex handlebar, prompt template, and a chat object. And the important thing, you can also specify the parameter to call your large language model. In this situation, you need to know which kind of large language model you are using. And in this situation, we are using GPT, so we can specify the GPT parameter object. And we can specify the basic parameter in the prompt definition, like temperature or maximum number of tokens, but you can override with kernel argument within each call to the large language model. I hope you liked this video. If you liked it, do not forget to press like and subscribe to this channel for new videos on the subject. Bye-bye.